G'day Tiger fans and welcome to Talking Tigers, Richmond's live official podcast. Well, it's been a great few days since the Tigers' mature four-quarter effort to finish off the Hawks and their season on Sunday afternoon. Gee, that felt nice. On today's show, we're going to look forward to the trip down to the Cattery on Saturday afternoon. What a big game that is, the top four clash. Our boy Griggy is back with some insight from the locker room. We can't wait to see what he's got today. He'll throw someone else under the bus. Maybe Big Cholly today. I'm not sure who he's targeting. Maybe Camden, but he will definitely throw someone under the bus, our boy Griggy. Kate Sheehan's going to come in. She's going to talk to us about our AFLW bid. She's also heading up the VFL operations at the moment, so plenty to chat to Kate about. I'll tell you what, we are going to reveal some extraordinary info on the Chief. Yes, and never a dull week with the Chief. Greener's top 10 sadly is back for another week. And the spirit of 67, I don't mind the spirit of 67, enjoying that. The yellow and blackers, the club news, plus all your emails and tweets. Greeners, JB, how are we?
Oh, we're great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, very, very good after the weekend. Very solid win.
Mature.
Oh, good performance.
Mature win. Just before we get into that, Tone, hashtag Talking Tigers, stump Greeners. See if you can win yourself a T-shirt. I think we've got one today, JB.
Yeah, we do.
We do. And that song there, that was your choice. I like it, JB.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, not too bad. Life is a highway.
Yes, go on.
Tom Cochrane.
Yeah, 1991.
Well, we're going down the highway.
Oh, going
this
down
week
the highway. Yeah, of course.
Kidinia Park.
Yes.
Big game.
That was the number one
very
hit,
big
that
game.
song, Life is a
Yeah,
Highway.
yep.
Yeah,
Very big
video hits back in the day.
Must have missed that.
Yeah, post 82.
Oh, okay,
so.
no, that's it.
It was 1991, that song.
Oh, well, that's there you go. Yeah, no, it's going to be a massive game. Massive game this week, obviously, down there. So we haven't. So not only have we not beaten them anywhere since 2006, all right. So we lost our last 12.
That was Wayne Campbell's last game.
No,
2006. When was the last time we won down there?
That was his last game was the last round of 2005.
Oh, 5. Sorry.
And then we beat them in 2006.
Yep.
Right. Chris Hyde kicked 4, and
that's right.
Pets and Simo kicked 3, and I think you kicked about 1-5 or something. You know.
Yeah, I didn't have a good game.
No,
we won though.
Well, actually, we were behind at 3/4 time and stormed home and won.
Kane
and that was the last
played
time.
well that day
kicked three.
Yeah.
So we've lost the last 12. We've actually lost 19 of our last 20 against
and
them.
I think with the match review panel rubbing out Hawkins, Duncan, Selwood, Ankle, they're going to be fired up.
Oh, they'll be fired
They'll get
right
a
up.
couple back. Mensa will probably come back, but we might start favourites down there.
It'll be a long time since they would have started as the underdog playing at home. A long time. So yeah, you still got to get the job done. It doesn't matter who's out there for them. It's going to be a very tough game. Absolutely. But we've given ourselves a real chance with the, that win against Hawthorn, as we said, was a really solid performance.
And they'd be seething after last Friday night where Sydney touched them up again in the first quarter, and Dangerfield comes back into the team as well. Don't forget that.
Makes a fair difference, doesn't
He'll
it?
be primed for a big game, Patrick Dangerfield.
Yep.
Because he would have been filthy missing last week.
Yeah, no, he would have. He would have indeed.
But anyway, that win against Hawthorn, it's off the back again. We'll talk about the small forwards in a minute, but our defence is now number one in the competition.
Number one.
That is what's winning games of football for us.
Interesting that the Hawthorn's half-time score was their lowest half-time score against Richmond since 1956. So again, an indication of just how well that defence, and it's not just the back six or back seven. It's the mindset across across the team with that the pressure in the forward half and everything. And
well, let's get it over with quickly. Manfred tweeted in, so
Manfred,
off the top as well. Have we had a more? Yeah, good. Have we had a more solid back 6 or 7 in the last 30+ years? Do you reckon?
I don't think so.
Well. Even in the great years, which I was obviously privileged to be able to see all those 5 premierships, it relied on. So we had some good attack out of the back line, but Tommy's philosophy then was kick more goals than the opposition. Yeah,
so he didn't mind. He'd probably leak a few the other way. But if you have a look at it, Rance and Asprey, both top 5 intercept players in the competition and intercept mark players. Dylan Grimes can shut down small or tall.
Yep.
He can do it all down there, Grimesy.
Yep.
Then you've got Basher Hawley providing
the run.
Great run.
Yep.
Nick Floston, a great intercept player, hard as a cat's head.
Yep.
And then Brandon Ellis running out of the back line as well.
That's right.
It's a good back 6.
So we're number 1 in defence now for points conceded, and Sydney number 2. Interestingly, because I ranked it in the story on the website yesterday, so with all the top 8 teams. But Essendon, who's 8th, is actually ranked 13th for their defence. So, it's just an interesting comparison.
And that's why I think guys like Paul Roos, who he loves that sort of style of play. But I think it does stack up that sort of footy in big games, and I think they proved that on Sunday. But there's some big games to come.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But even going back 2 years ago when we finished 5th, we had the third best defence, and a lot of those guys were involved then. So it's not something revolutionary to this year, but I think further up the ground, the pressure that's coming from there is certainly the next level up.
And that helps the defence, because if you put pressure on up the ground and they kick it up long and high, then you've got the chance to set up.
It's also that pace that enables them, like them to run in waves down the ground, just to swarm down.
The other good thing about the weekend, we got 2 new recruits over the summer and highly publicised. Caddy and Prestia, they were without doubt their best games for the club.
No doubt. Like Caddy got he had 28 touches, kicked 4 goals, 4, and gave us a couple away. So
could have kicked 7.
Easily could have kicked 6 or 7. Yeah. So no, he was really good, and
Dion moved as well as he's moved.
And Dion was excellent, and his
foot use was pretty good too.
It was, and he sort of thrives on that run with roll. Now he was on Tommy Mitchell, and Tommy Mitchell still had 35, which is his season average, but I think 7 or 8 kicks. The rest were handballs. So
I didn't think Mitchell was good, but I didn't think he damaged. He didn't hurt us.
No, he really curbed his influence. So and he really likes that role, the run with roll, and he's something he does very well. So that was really pleasing.
And Caddy got his way. He asked him to go on board a little bit more.
He'd asked him during the week. He said because he obviously played more forward with Jack out for that first week against Gold Coast, so he spent basically the entire game forward, and he went to Dimmer during the week. He said, there's a chance I could spend a bit more on-field midfield time, on ball time, and Dimmer agreed. So,
And the pressure again in that first quarter, every goal we got was off the back of just elite forward pressure. The Geelong, the Hawks defenders, they were jittery when they got the ball.
Other teams aren't used to that. They're used to coming up against sides that have got, a couple of big forwards and marking options and everything, and obviously then with Jack out as well. But even when Jack plays, Jack can play smaller too because he's very good at ground level. So, I just want to make mention just of another player, that Corey Ellis' ability to chip in that first quarter and kick a couple of goals. Very good set shot, Corey.
You never thought he was going to miss. I felt really confident when Corey lined up.
And he took that Royce-type mark the previous week and kicked the goals. He's kicked 3 in 2 weeks.
Well, it just shows what happens with Jack going out, that others had to step up. And I think we've had 5... if you throw Soldo in as well, career best goal tallies from players in the last 2 weeks.
Without Jack,
with Daniel Rioli.
That's
also,
right.
Corey with his 2.
Caddy's
Josh 4.
That was his career high at AFL level. Yeah,
and Toby the week before with 3 as well. So everyone's stepping up in his absence.
There might be only one bad thing out of this game.
Yeah.
Did Dusty get any votes? He'd probably still get a vote.
I reckon he still gets a Brownlow vote. Now
he mightn't get the 3 this week.
No, maybe not. Maybe not. But
I've got a frog in my throat.
Me too.
Sorry about that.
You're about to croak then. I still reckon he might get a Brownlow vote.
Yeah, he still had 30 and kicked 2.
He was really good.
We're starting to judge him too harshly, aren't we?
Extraordinary.
Is he going to sign up this week?
I think it's not
Tommy
far away.
Brown reckons it's not far away.
No, well, Tommy would know. If anyone would know in Melbourne town, Tommy
the original
would know.
2 phones, Tony Sheehan.
Is that right?
He's all across
actually, 2 phones Sheehan went with the 7-year deal, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think he did.
Yeah. And the cafe meeting yesterday.
2 phones on that.
Player meets player manager in cafe.
We might have to ask his sister Kate later, do you think?
Oh,
no, maybe we won't.
No, don't ask her.
I don't think we will.
We'll ask her about
don't want to
Mike.
embarrass her.
I am going to ask her about Mike's hatred of Richmond.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see.
Because
really
GR kicked him out of the room.
And Schwabby,
he did. He's not happy. He was not happy with GR.
Hey, you mentioned we mentioned about Nank and Soldo, but I think the combo's been really good. I think obviously Soldo's really green. He's got a long way to go, but his ability then to give Nank that chop out, which takes the pressure off him. He's actually, because he's so big, his ability to get tap outs.
He gets his hand on it.
He does, and he's he's hard at it. Like he's just he's really hard at it.
And he was up against Ben McAvoy, who's
he'd been in real career best form,
great
probably.
Form.
Yeah,
I thought he nullified McAvoy enough. Nank played pretty well
valuable.
as well.
Yeah.
What about his goal? The little sandwich. How good was that?
It was great. It was really good.
It's like a soccer game where you chip the keeper.
Yeah,
he just chipped it over like a little sandwich.
He did. No, it was really
good
pleasing.
to see. Good to see.
Yeah.
What about big news today? Before we move on to some emails, what about that Rocket Eats got the sack?
The lemonade and sauce, hasn't he? Yeah. No, it's I guess it was inevitable with the fact that they haven't had a great season, have they?
I hope they don't poach any of our assistants.
No, let's hope not. At all.
No, I feel for Rocket. Tough gig, and they haven't quite got it right up there yet. So another new coach. Looks like Dean Solomon will be a caretaker till the end of the year.
Yeah.
Good man, Solly.
Interesting to see what happens there.
Hey, before Sconzi, I know it's not on the rundown, I just want to mention something. we want all our supporters to download the app, the mobile app. It's the best way to get your information through the club. So download the app from the App Store, get it on your phone, and there's plenty of good gear on there to have a look at. Tiger News.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
Hey, that's a bit of club news there, JB.
You got mail.
Rub that off your list,
Take it over. Do you want to do the top 10 today?
I'll just do the show on my own.
It just shows how good club news is. Everybody wants to get involved. But anyway, this is from Dancing Lil, actually. What we said before.
Dancing Will?
Lil.
Oh, Lil.
Wish the footy media would shut up about how the Cats are gone for the year now without Selwood.
Yeah,
that's
Chris Scott
ridiculous.
will have that. 22 that run out on Saturday, so full of indignation about the footy world writing them off through injuries and suspension that they will be breathing fire.
Yeah, be the old us against the world mentality.
Exactly. I hope our boys are ready to withstand whatever the Cats throw their way. We owe them, so thanks for that.
They might have a few big outs, but they've got a few big ins. Menzel, Dangerfield.
They've still got 22 players.
Yeah, no, we know that.
This one's from Jacob Schonefinger. Good morning, boys. Love the show, as all Richmond fans do. Very impressed with the performance on the weekend.
You did that once.
What?
When you were walking up the race.
Showed
a finger.
Cost me 5 large, tell you.
5 gorillas.
Johnny P's over here today.
Good to have Johnny P.
See you, Johnny.
Hey.
In the past, there was no way we would have been able to win these games without key players such as Jack. However, we need to bulk buy some Loctite or super glue from Bunnings and keep the lid firmly on, which is no problem for this podcast.
No.
The next 3 weeks are huge. If we get carried away, all our great work will be undone. Love the games of Grimes and Floston. Keep up the good works, and hopefully a hoodoo broken this week.
We just need to keep Cholly away from Jack on the training track, I think, don't
Cholly.
Cholly. He's got bigger things to...
We need to talk to Grigor, I reckon.
I think Grigor's got him in his sights today.
Okay, yeah.
Let's whip through some tweets.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback starting from BW7, talking about last week's Chief Watch, saying that the full occupancy moment, which was
the hotel was full.
It was full. It could be one of the great moments in podcasting. Tiger Lynn.
It was a brilliant moment.
Tiger Lynn, seeing whether we've seen the Chiefs' acting work in the membership campaign.
Hang on.
Ooh, yes,
hang
hold
on.
tight. We've got a few others. Ash Rodriguez.
Read them out then, Jake.
Yeah, I'm scrolling and reading. Ash Rodriguez can't stop smiling since the weekend. Got to love that winning feeling. Caddy and the human meatball turning it on.
Doesn't BT love calling him that?
The human meatball.
Brian just loves calling him that.
Yeah. Brendan Fisher, seeing whether we noticed Corey Ellis in the team song with his busted nose. Could barely get it going. So what's going on?
He's a bit sore.
No, it's all right.
David Millett wants to talk about Josh Caddy's game as well. Great watching Ash Clover as well. So Christmas Smithers said it was great watching Daniel Rioli. Really impressed him this weekend. A pest and elite work rate and kicking the goals. Black Book special this week with Hawkins out. Dave Asprey will keep Wiley Buzzer goalless. And finally...
Wiley Buzzer, what a great name.
It is a great name.
Wiley Buzzer.
He will be a cult figure down there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And finally, we'll end with the Rocksman. Proud of everybody. Keep going, lads. So that was a tough one to get through.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we've been distracted there. Yeah.
It's all right.
Hey, we just want to make mention that it's come to our attention, right?
What's this?
That a little advert that you've done. Now, I'm not sure if this is from your is this from your website or whatever, but spruiking the benefits of travelling. Here we go. Have a listen.
I normally catch the train every Sunday when there's games at the MCG. I work on the radio at 12 o'clock, so normally catch 11 o'clock at Ripon Lee and head into the MCG. I love catching the train because you don't have to sit in your car in traffic on Punt Road, which is always unpredictable, so it's just nice to jump on the train. You get in there quicker, you can relax a little bit and just clear the head before the game.
What's wrong with that?
The greatest load of nonsense
Mate,
I have ever heard. You would not have been within 4 kilometres of a train.
That is
in
rubbish.
your life. You would never have got on a train.
I catch
ever.
the train every Sunday when we have a game at the MCG.
You would not know how to even purchase a Mikey card or anything.
Someone tweet in. If anyone has seen me on a train, tweet in now.
Just because you shame the train doesn't mean that you've actually ever been on a train, right?
So
don't come up with this. Honestly, the ombudsman will get involved.
Are you saying I've never bought a train?
I think the ombudsman will get involved. This is false advertising, right?
Ombudsman.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What'd you call them?
Ombudsman. Ombudsman will be involved here because this is false advertising.
I will get evidence and proof that I've caught a train.
You want a train?
Someone will tweet us in this week.
Where do you get the train to?
Ripon Lee to Richmond. Then I walk to the ground, MCG. It's nice. I enjoy it. It clears my head.
Good to clear the head.
It is. It clears your head.
Righto.
You just look out the window.
Do you have headphones on?
No.
Looked like you had a seatbelt on.
You're not a people of the person. This man's a people of the person. People of the person. This man is a person of the people. You are not.
He's not a people man at all. The chief? Are you serious?
He says he is.
I'm just going to read a few names here.
Right, okay.
Movies, right? Great movies, great acting performances.
Yep.
Robert De Niro in The Raging Bull.
Outstanding.
How good was that?
Brilliant. Jake LaMotta.
Yeah, Jake LaMotta.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando in The Godfather. What a great performance from Marlon. Dustin Hoffman, Kramer versus Kramer, one of your favourite films.
I look a bit like him. Didn't like Tootsie.
Yeah, Tootsie's good as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
You'd like this one, JB.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, Shawshank Redemption.
Good movie.
Great movie.
I think it's on again tonight.
Channel 9, probably.
957th time, yeah.
It's on
After the cricket.
Every week it's on.
Peter Sellers in Being There, nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah,
That's the last film he made,
Preferred
Peter
the party.
Sellers.
The party was awesome.
Party was good too.
Yeah, no, really good.
Daniel Day-Lewis won 3 Academy Awards.
Yeah.
My Left Foot and The Name of the Father.
That was Royce's autobiography, wasn't it? Royce Hart, My Left Foot.
Was it? Yeah, could be. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Now, you might ask, what has this got in common with Brendan
good
Gale?
question.
Yeah, it is a good question.
Well, that tweet we had before answered
Tiger
it.
Lynn, yep.
Tiger Lynn, has anyone seen his acting performance in the new membership ad with Daniel Rioli and Alex Rance?
It is extraordinary.
Fair dinkum, Brendan.
It is extraordinary.
Now, you know what was meant to happen? That was meant to be filmed at reception with Alexa and just a couple of the girls there.
Yeah.
And whoever is on reception at the time. Could have been Benny Jenkins. Could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Could have been Tommy Salagas. Okay?
Doubtful.
Not Tommy.
He doesn't answer the phone.
But it was meant to be filmed at reception, right, Anna? But what happened? Brendan demanded that he be in the new membership clip. And you know why? And you know why he demanded it?
Because he's conceited?
No, because he's jealous. And you know what he's jealous of?
What?
He was jealous of my performance
shame the
in
trade.
Thomas and the Tank Engine. And he's thinking, if that's good enough for Richo to get these acting gigs, it's good enough for me. So, Brendan, get over it, mate. Get over it. You're not cut out for acting. So just leave
have you got an update? Because he and Trial by Video, are they launching the footy show, the new revamp?
There's a dispute.
Oh, no.
So I don't think they'll be on the footy show
Contractual.
this week. And they can't find Zanotti anyway. I've got no idea where Zanotti is.
If you're listening, Mark Zanotti, if you are listening in Borneo or wherever, please contact the chief urgently.
They need you on the footy show.
We still might be able to get this happening.
No, they've sent out an SOS for Zanotti. He's nowhere to be seen.
Right, interrupt the club news. We've got a tweet in from Herbert Russo. He's seen you on the train, Richo.
There you go.
He has seen you.
No, there is a bloke that does look a bit like him, a goofy-looking bloke. So it may not have been
Herbert Russo. Thank you very much.
Really?
Yeah, I catch the train.
There you go. Big week.
Wonders will never cease.
It wasn't a financial gain. It was a public service announcement.
Yep.
How incidentally?
It's a blurred line between the two.
How was your little cashy last night?
Oh, up in Portland.
You went to Portland.
Oh, mate, I'm lucky to be here. You should have seen the plane I went to Portland on.
You described it as a flying pencil.
It was like a pencil.
Oh dear. It's the last chance to bid on the AMF Guernseys via shoprichmondfc.com.au. 21 of those are up for grabs. Auction closes this Thursday night. The other one is Trent Cotchin's AMF Guernsey, which is available if you enter the competition via the Richmond website or app, as Richo mentioned before. That closes 5 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday.
Well, that'll go for a mozzie, you'd think.
Cotches?
Yeah.
Well, it's up for free, so you just need to enter your details. One lucky fan will win.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
The round 23 game was announced last week, Sunday, August 27 at 3:20 p.m. at the MCG. Tickets for that go on sale via Ticketek tomorrow, Wednesday, August 9 from 9 a.m. This weekend, there's no open training down at Cardinia Park, but there will be one here on Friday from 10:30 a.m. at the Swinburne Centre, Punt Road Oval. The game this week against Geelong is on Foxtel, and the curtain raiser, which has been moved there, will be from 10:15 a.m. Gates open at 10 a.m. So Richmond VFL taking on Geelong VFL, big game there. Patrons who want to get in early will need a ticket to watch the VFL. So if you are one of the lucky ones with a ticket heading down the highway, drop in early to watch the VFL guys go at it against Geelong. I've got some greeners here for you.
Yeah.
Greeners. It's from Stephen Peaver.
Stephen Fever.
With our current win streak being at 4 games, what is our longest win streak in history, and which year did it commence and conclude?
Oh, yes.
You would have done a fair bit of work on this when the 9 was happening.
You know what? If you
our longest winning streak
what is it?
is 12 games.
Yes.
When was it?
Oh, well.
See, Rhett would know this.
Yeah, 12 games would have been...
It's a tough. I reckon you got it.
You've got to give it to me. 12 games.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
We'll give you that.
All right.
1932 it started and finished in 1933.
Skinny Titus.
You know what? We'll send out a tea anyway just for sending that in.
Okay.
Thanks, Stephen. He
Good
loves
work,
the podcast,
Stephen.
which is good. And finally, the injury list, which is pretty big this week. Well, not big. It's shrinking.
Yeah, it's
well,
good.
Jack Rewald's still got his test with his eye. We might ask Rigger about that when he comes in, what he thinks the likelihood of Jack playing is. But Sean Hampson will be available for that.
Oh, that's great news.
Aforementioned Richmond VFL game. So
this week?
Yeah, he'll come off the injury list.
That's really good news.
Big news.
According to what I've just got through then. So he'll play half a game there. Steve Morris will face a fitness test as well. So if he can get through that, he'll play in the 2s as well.
Hammer's a big in regardless of whether he got to senior level. Because VFL finals, he's...
Really important.
Yeah.
And just to see that, hopefully his back holds up and everything.
Exactly.
And it's really big news.
And to round it out, Ben Griffiths and Reece Conker are both a week away. So next weekend, the VFL play Sandringham here at Pun Road Oval. So hopefully both those two are back as well.
So Stephen Piver?
Yeah.
Send us in your size and your address. I'm going to send him one anyway because you only got it half right.
No, I got it right.
You didn't get it all right.
So you're going to send them out?
No, you'll send it out. But
it's always where it gets lost.
Yeah, geez, you're good at directions.
I'm too busy, mate.
Yeah,
I've got cashies to do.
Yeah, it sounds like a good cashy last night.
No, it wasn't. It's on the books last night.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Right.
Jeez, I like the sting.
This is your new sting, isn't it?
New sting. It's great. It's got nothing to do. It doesn't in any way equate to this. It's just great, though. Listen to it all day. Anyway, so the top 10, I know you don't like this segment.
Make it a succinct top 10.
No, it can't be succinct because it's a bit involved in this.
I'll get into it.
So I've got to say that this is coming off the back of listening to our good friend Finey on SEN last week, and he did this as part of the show that he does on a Wednesday night with Holtz, and Xana's. So as they were talking about VFA, there's a really good book that's just come out about history of the VFA and everything. So, and I used to love the old VFA competition on a Sunday. And anyway, so this is my top 10 Richmond players that excelled also in the VFA. All right, so top 10 Tigers in the VFA, and then in alphabetical order. So got Billy Barrett, obviously a star here, and then he was a dominant player in Oakley's 72 premiership under Big Bob Johnson, and he later returned as Oakley's captain coach. Number 2, Laurie Fowler. So he played in their 73 premiership side. He was captain coach at Waverley, won their best and fairest in 82, and then was captain coach at Springvale and led them to their first premiership in 1983. So, number 3, now we're talking of Portland. This is one of Portland's favourite sons, Peter, the late, great Peter Hogan. Peter Hogan, who would have been a teammate of
He
Bull's. He
what
played
VFA
here.
club did he play for?
He was a champion rover at Sandringham after he left here. Yep, absolute gun rover, and he later coached Sandringham as well. Number 4, Big Rex Hunt. So obviously we know Rex here, a couple of premierships. He was leading goal kicker. He went to Sandringham, 38 games, 203 goals.
Jeez.
In 38 games. So he topped the goal kicking in the VFA in 81 with 110 goals. So
he was know that.
Yeah, gun. Number 5, Tony Jewell. Now, before TJ arrived at Richmond, he was the leading goal kicker with Oakley in 1963 with 40 goals. And then he later on, after he left here and played in the premiership in 67, was captain coach of Caulfield, the Bears, and he led them to the 1973 Division 2 premiership.
And then he led the celebrations at the Bear Cave afterwards.
At the Bears Cave, the famous Bears Cave, and of course he had playing for him also, he had Neville Crowe and Paddy Ganane also played under him there. So the Bears Cave was just amazing. Number 6 is Kevin Morris, who was, before he joined, we recruited him from Waverley. He was their leading goal kicker in 1970 with 55 goals. Number 7 there, Ray Orchard. You mightn't be familiar with Ray Orchard, but he played here in the mid-60s. He only played about 8 senior games. But he became an absolute legend in the VFA. He went to Dandenong, played 134 games, 257 goals. We played in their 71 premiership side at Dandenong, and later went to Frankston, and he played in their premiership side in 1978. So he was a gun VFA player. Number 8, Ian Owen, who was 1969 Premiership player, half-back flanker here. That subsequently went to Port Melbourne, played in 3 premierships, triple premiership player at Port Melbourne. Number 9, Kevin Sheedy.
We know about Sheedy.
Well, before he obviously joined here, played senior footy at Paran at 16 and was a member of their 66 second division premiership side. And number 10, the Bristle, Barge, Big BT, Brian Taylor, who was playing coach at Paran, 31 games, 133 goals at Paran and led them into the finals.
Knew where the goals were, Bristle, didn't he?
He did, both ends of the ground.
Yeah. No, that was good. Yeah. That was a good one.
Good.
Well, what do you got next week? You got an idea for a top 10 next week?
What top 10 worst? Oh no, we can't do that, can we?
No,
we did have one. Top 10 players that nearly came to Richmond.
That nearly, so like nearly, Tony Lockett in '94.
Yeah. Things like that. They were really close, but didn't quite end up here.
All right, well, we're going to talk about this week with Griggy in a minute. But one thing, what do you want to see? I'm going to tell you what we need to do this week.
Yeah, what do we need to do?
We must win the clearance battle and get the ball moving forward first. Because I think at that narrow ground at Geelong, it will really suit our smalls. Get it in there quick and then chase and harass and lock it in our forward half. Right. Must win the clearance battle.
Well, that's basically summed up the game.
That's the game.
That's
right
the
there.
game.
That's it. You agree?
Well, of course.
But what else? You don't
maybe be prepared for Harry Taylor to go forward in.
Yeah, Harry will have to play forward this week. But Lockie Henderson can as well, though.
And Paddy Dangerfield has showed that he can lead out and kick goals.
And be prepared for all the abuse and just to play in the enemy territory.
Welcome it.
Well, we all agree. That's it. The clearance battle this week. We'll see what Dimmer has to say. We caught up with him.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to get down there at the moment. It's probably by car, I suppose. But yeah, look, it's one of those ones. You go into a hostile environment. You know, our guys love the travel. They play well in a state, so I don't want to say it's in a state, but it is a journey down there, and it's a hostile environment. So our guys will embrace that challenge. And look, if we play our best footy, we're capable of beating most sides. You know, Geelong are a good side, obviously, that have played some outstanding footy throughout the year, so it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about that. But that's a great thing about this season. Strange things happen.
How do you think they should get down there, Richo?
Well, I can organise a few Mikeys for them. Do Metro trains. Should I get
I think is that still Metro? It's V-Line.
No, V-Line. But get the Ripon to Richmond and then down to Geelong, surely.
Yeah. I'll organise some trains.
Into Southern Cross and from Southern Cross.
All right,
okay. Yep.
All right. Give us some votes from this week.
Well, this is extraordinary because somehow I couldn't actually get Dustin Martin in. Now, he should, and I still think he'll get Brownlow votes, whether it's just one or whatever. But I just thought we'd change it up a bit. So I go 3 to Caddy for all the reasons that we mentioned. Josh Caddy, 28 touches, 4 goals, and just 4 goals, 4. Gave a couple of wides. So he was excellent. I go 2 to Kane Lambert, who is just having a ripping season.
Top 5 BNF,
I reckon he would. Yeah. He's been in outstanding. We've got the 10 coaches vote, so I reckon we need to ask Grigger about him, a little bit about him, get a bit of an insight into him.
I might try.
All right,
ask him something.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Watch the video.
Yep, okay. And I gave one to Dion Prestia again. His best game since he's been a Tiger.
All right. Well, I gave 3 to Josh Caddy. Thought his best game for the club. 4 goals, 28. You said it. 2 to Kane Lambert, just a workhorse. Gee, covers some kilometres, JB. I know you got some numbers there. You can mention to Griggy later and ask him about it. He's a running machine. I gave 1 to Dave Asprey. I thought he was our best defender. Rancy got votes and got in the team of the week, but I actually thought Dave deserved a vote this week. And Dion Prestia is very stiff.
There was a really good article in the Herald Sun with Dave about how he had that offer from Brisbane and he just mulled over it and he just drew a line down the paper and the pros and cons. And mate, he just loves being at Richmond. Yeah. He is a absolute passionate Tiger.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely. My vote's similar to yours, Greeners, but I've given 3 to Kane Lambert for just being the link man between... Well, not just, but he is one of the great link mans between defence and attack. And he set up a few of Caddy's goals as well. So I gave 2 votes to Josh Caddy.
He would have had 3 or 4 direct goal assists, I reckon.
A few smart alecky Hawthorn and Geelong fans saying that they were cheapies. But you know what? Josh Caddy did a lot of work high up the ground. And this is his reward.
Exactly.
Thank you how you get him. It doesn't sort of say that in the scoreboard, does it?
So 4 goals to Caddy gets my 2 votes. And I gave 1 to Dion Prestia because I thought it was his best game for the club. Again, apologies to Dusty. Also to Grimesy as well. I thought he was pretty stiff not to get a vote.
The apologies are about half a dozen players, really. So the leaderboard, Dusty, 102, didn't get a vote this week. Unbelievable.
The first game all year, just about.
If I look back...
They can't catch him.
I think he's won it. Back-to-back.
Same with the Brownlow.
Back-to-back. Trent Cotchin, 49 rounds, 43. Grigg, 22. Lambert, 25.
Yep.
They're the votes.
Good. Geez, I'm stiff.
Why?
No, well, I had Jack again last week coming back in and, kicking 4, and of course he didn't get up. But I'm going to stick with Jack again. I'm going to just go with replicate what I had last week to come in, kick 4 goals plus, and be the best forward on the ground.
Okay, all right. Well, I said Alex Rance would get 10 intercept possessions.
Well, that's a fail.
No, it's not.
Well, how many do you have?
9.
Well, it's a fail.
Well, it's pretty close though.
Oh, well, pretty close. It's not, mate.
I'm the only one of us three that can still
I think this
get these yellow and blackers.
It might have run its race. I think it might have run its race.
Next year, I don't think we'll go with the yellow and blackers.
We're going to come up with a few different ideas. Already got one good one.
Greenest grounds.
That's going to be a beauty.
Yeah.
Did you tell us what you're going to do this week?
Oh, yeah, did I? I'm still up in Portland.
You are.
That pencil.
The flying pencil. How many people were on board?
Stopped at Warrnambool.
Did it?
Stopped at Warrnambool, kept going up and down. I just get us back to Essendon. Rioli, most tackles this week.
Why didn't you get the train there?
Too far, too long. Rioli, most tackles on the ground this week.
Right. Yeah.
Last week, Kane Lambert will keep Tom Mitchell under 30 touches. Neither of those things have been but he was still pretty good. He was good.
Oh, well, he didn't go. Lambert didn't
No,
play.
he didn't. But this week, it's Dan Butler hasn't kicked a goal since the Brisbane game, so I reckon he's going to cash in. It's his turn this week. He'll get multiple goals.
All right.
Took a good mark, didn't he?
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we've got to move on because Kate Sheehan has just walked in. Well, it's my pleasure now to welcome into the TT studio Kate Sheehan. Kate, welcome.
Hi, Richo. Thanks for having me.
And firstly, welcome to Tigerland.
Yes.
You've been here for a month or so now, but you haven't been on TT yet, so you're officially welcome to the club now once you've been on this show.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
Doesn't get any bigger.
I was starting to think I wasn't welcome at Tigerland. I hadn't been asked on the podcast.
You enjoying things? You loving it?
I love it. I've never been in an environment that's so warm and welcoming. I can genuinely say that.
That's fantastic. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, AFLW and maybe a little bit of VFL at the end, I've got to ask you this. I worked with your dad, Mike, for a number of years on radio, and I always had this inkling that he didn't like Richmond. What does he think of you working down here at Richmond?
Confirm or deny that?
Oh, it's a bit cloak and dagger. He said he saw his 2 grandkids do the Guard of Honour at the game against Hawthorn the other day, and he goes, I wanted to put it up on Instagram because he's on Instagram. He's 70 and he's on Instagram, which is embarrassing.
There is hope for me. There is hope for me, yeah.
And he put this photo up and he said, I don't know if I should or I shouldn't because everyone thinks I hate the Tigers, but I really do like them. So he does like the Tigers.
He's got a bit of love there somewhere.
Yeah. Now, Kate, just tell us what your role is, your specific role.
I'm Women's Football Operations Manager, and I'm also the VFL Football Operations Manager now.
Jeez, you'd be busy then.
Yeah, I'm climbing the ranks, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah. So when is the decision made on the women's team for 2019? When's the AFL going to make that decision, and how many teams do you think will come in?
It'll be they've told us it was meant to be the end of July initially, and now it's potentially the end of August.
Yep.
It's really hard with the teams. I think in early days, I think the AFL thought too they didn't want to rush anything. They weren't sure the talent was deep enough, and how would everyone field a team. And then it got to 4 because the interest was so high and the first season was so successful. But now we're hearing 6. So
really?
Because I spoke to another club and they said, we don't want to have a compromised draft every year for the next couple of years because every footy club wants one of these teams. So how they were, I don't even think the AFL really know what they want yet because they've got so many options, but they've just got to find the best structure.
Now, you got the submission in to the AFL, and then on July 27th, yourself, Dan Richardson, Brendan, Gail, Aaron Clark and Peggy got the opportunity to present to the AFL committee. How did that meeting go, and did you get any inkling out of that?
Well, firstly, can I just say I've never been so nervous in all my life. Going into the AFL, and then you're presenting in front of a... They were actually saying we feel like we're in front of the parole board. You've got all these guys up one end looking at you like, yep, what do you got to tell us? How are you going to get through? And I think everyone was incredibly nervous, but it was more so because this matters so much. And Brendan Gale actually picked me up. We sort of live near each other, and I said to him when he dropped me home, I said, Brendan, no disrespect, but I don't think anyone understands how important this is to females. It's been a revelation, and it's changed. I know it's changed my life, and I said that to one of the commissioners who was there at the time. I said, I don't normally get nervous because I like public speaking and I'm into that sort of thing, but I was shaking. And even I looked over at Dan Richardson at one point, and even he was nervous, and he's a pretty cool character. So I think it's showing the AFL and the industry how much the Richmond Football Club care about this process.
So, Kate, if we are successful, we get granted a licence to field an AFLW team. Where do we draw the talent from? Where are we going to go after our players from? What areas?
Look, the Indigenous space is something that the football club's done a really good job of in the past and currently, and I think that we need to be the leaders in that front with our Next Generation Academy region, which we're really lucky in a way because we have the top of country Victoria. So if we can't find talent out of that sort of space, then we're not doing our jobs correctly, I think. That's putting pressure on myself. I feel like Nathan Buckley, he did that. And then also we think there's a lot of talent coming through the Northern Territory with the Indigenous players. So we've just got to be creative as well. I had a chat to Dan Richardson about the island experience because there's no other sport in the world that's as closely aligned to AFL than Gaelic football. So I don't know. And we're seeing the likes of Tui coming through who their kicking is just phenomenal, and that's because they've been taught off a blank canvas.
Do the girls play Gaelic football in Ireland? They do.
Yeah, there's a girl playing at Melbourne who's a Gaelic footballer.
Right, okay.
So they've just got the running capacity you need. They've got the physicality. They've got the overhead skills. It's just, if we can find some of those sort of
there'd be plenty there, you reckon?
So are other clubs looking at that, or could we sort of be the pace setter in that regard?
I don't know what the other clubs are doing, but I would like to think in some capacity we are going to be the pace setter along the way. We threw up an idea to the AFL in our submission, which I think is pretty cool. I hate going into the media and saying something where you can't give a lot of information. I don't know if it'll get off the ground, but I do believe we were quite innovative with some of the ideas we threw up about finding talent and developing it.
It's really good.
And the facility here, there's been a lot of talk, and Peggy addressed it in a column over the weekend on the website. Do you think there's growth within the facility with the AFLW team as well to host the players, because they need the space as well? So do you think there's a massive opportunity there too?
Well, I think the club are looking to redevelop the other end of Punt Road anyhow with the Swinburne connection. So I believe regardless of what happens, that will go ahead. And I was just talking to one of our fitness staff yesterday in the men's program, Luke and me, and I said, no matter what happens, the girls coming on board will force some change. We'll have more people to be able to help across the two teams, and I only think that's going to benefit the men's program as much as the women's program. And let's not forget, the women's program operated at a completely different time to the men's program. So we're like the first season, we were starting training at 6. And so we're more like the VFL program. In time, I think that'll change, but for now, that's how it is.
What about the young girls out there? Since this started, you said it changed your life. I've noticed a huge growth in it just through my little nieces who play football as well. It's just amazing, the response and the amount of girls taking up the game.
Oh yeah, I've been really shocked. 12 months ago, you'd walk down the street and you wouldn't see a bunch of girls holding a footy, kicking. You know, back in the day, you'd kick in the street and that's how you learn what you did. And now I drive down my suburb and I'm seeing girls with footies. And to me, that's the impact it's having. It's having an impact where these young girls can come through pathways and go, one day I can do that. And I never grew up like that. The reality hit when I was about 10, where I was like, I'm not going to be an AFL footballer. And it was a rude awakening, but that's how it was back then. But now, all these young girls just can aspire to be like Matthew Richardson or Moana Hope or whoever it is. They've got something to aspire to.
Now, is there a chance that you could pull the boots on again if we do get the
chance?
Tony,
would you pull the boots on again?
How is the knee?
The knee's pretty good. It's the few of the S&C boys here at the club have been helping me out with my program, and which I've been really lucky with. And they've sort of said, look, if we get a team, well, I had said to them, if we get a team and the powers that be want me to play, I would love to play.
Good.
So my aspirations are still
about playing.
I have a burning desire to play one more year because I just didn't get to fulfil what I wanted to do. Whether that happens, that's I'm not going to force the issue. I want people to want me to play rather than me forcing it on them. I don't think that's fair on anyone. So Dan Richardson, we went to the National Carnival in Queensland a couple of weeks ago, and after one of the games we had a kick with his son and my son, and he goes, geez, you might need to teach a few of our boys how to kick. So
Now, onto your other hat, the VFL. You've only just taken over this role for the remainder of this year, but, gee, they're going well. Looks like we could finish top 4 there as well.
Yeah, I think our coach, Craig McRae's done a wonderful job of galvanising this group and bringing it together, and it feels as though there is some really great synergy between the AFL program and the VFL program, and they really care. And we went to Ballarat a couple of weeks ago, and it was an early morning game, and all of a sudden in the rooms is Jack Rewalt and all these sort of boys. So there's that real care factor. And I think when you know that across the club, across the 2 programs, everyone cares about it, you can't help but feel like it's important and special. So I haven't been in the job long, but I've tried to implement some new things, which the coaching staff have been happy with. And
so what sort of things?
Just, communication with the local coaches, how we best do that. I think everyone's sick of paperwork, so let's use modern technology to do it well. Even little stuff like food after the game, just making sure that the players are eating and they have options that they really like rather than just giving them the standard sort of pizzas and whatever. We're an elite sport, so we should be treating the athletes like that.
Well, Kate, thanks for dropping by today.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Thank you,
Kate.
Good luck with the bid. We hope that next time we're talking to you, we've got a women's team. We're starting to put it all together. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks a lot, boys.
Thank you.
Here's an opportunity for Greg. A bounce to 50. Ran to 48. Rams at home. Spin it around beautifully, Greg. And kicked a ripping goal. The half-time siren. Open goal for Greg. Wonderful stuff.
That sting can mean only one thing. It's great to have TT's own Sean Grigg in the studio today. Griggy, it's been a few weeks. Welcome back.
Thanks, Richo. Wrapped to be back.
Good win on the weekend, mate. Very, very solid 4-quarter win.
Yeah, it was. Hawks obviously been playing really well after their bad start. So, we knew that we were going to have to play well. And, we started really well. Our pressure was fantastic. And, we kept it up for most of the game.
Do you think it was a genuine 4-quarter effort this week? Because I know you've been trying to put 4 quarters together all year, but this week felt like it really was.
Yeah, probably as good as what we have. It's so hard to play really well for all 4 quarters because you're coming up against a quality opposition who are trying things to nullify you and to get their game up and going. So it was a really good 4-quarter effort from. It was a really good team effort as well. We had some standout players, but everyone contributed well.
We were surprised going because it looked like it was going to be a wet weather game with the weather and that, and just what was the ground like? Because the weather really improved, didn't it?
It was really good. Yeah, it was only sort of one wing that was a little bit wet, but driving into the game, we thought, here we go. We'll put the long stops in and we'll grind it out again. But it dried up nicely and it was good.
Kane Lambert got the 10 coaches' votes. He was also the top runner with 15.9 Ks for the second week in a row. He really seems to be reaping the rewards. What's he like as a bloke and what's he bringing to the team that you love?
Yeah, I mean, just his effort and consistency. He just tries his heart out, and it's sort of no real surprise to us because we've seen him build this form over a couple of years. And he's probably up there with one of our best runners with in pre-season, and really he really tries hard. So he's reaping the reward of playing consistently. I think it's pretty tough when you're in and out, which he has been his first couple of years, and now he's had a solid block and he's flying. And
Dion Prestia and Josh Caddy, I thought they both probably had their best games for the club on the weekend. They were very good.
Yeah, they both were. It was really good to see Dion back after he was pretty filthy missing against the Gold Coast. But, it was good to have him back. And obviously with Jack out again, Cads had to play more as a tall forward. And, he kicked a few from the goal square. He was pretty happy with. It was good.
A few Joe the Gooses there.
Got a couple.
The Cats.
Good.
Yeah. Do you think Jack was just an automatic back in, or would perhaps to have to earn his spot back? Given how well
it's operating pretty
functioning pretty well.
It is, isn't it? It's interesting around the locker rooms at the moment with Jack. He's pretty nervous, the big fella. But he was out there training the house down this morning and running around and being a pest again. So. No, he's obviously a quality player and one of our leaders, and we'll welcome him back with open arms.
So he's 100% for this week, you think? You don't know?
I don't know. I think he's still got to get ticked off by the eye specialist later in the week. But if you ask him, he's right. But he's been a bit of a pest missing the last few weeks, actually. The game's very easy up from the grandstand, Greeners.
It is.
Jack has quickly forgotten.
Yes.
I think.
He's forgotten 2 weeks,
He's forgotten how hard it is to empty out of the forward line and put the pressure on. But the pressure up in the forward line has been good since Jack's been there.
It's been very good. It'll be pretty important this week too, Griggy. Down in Geelong, I reckon the ground will suit that style of play because it's going to be in tight. Once you lock it in forward half, it can be hard to get back through at Geelong, so it might suit our style.
Yeah, hopefully. If we can bring this pressure again and try and squeeze Geelong. We'll hopefully play well. Obviously, they play there all the time, and we had a good look at how Sydney played them last week. So we'll have our review today of the Hawthorn game, and then we'll get stuck into it.
Beautiful. Well, mate, while you really come in, what do you got for us today?
I've got a couple of things today. So
much anticipated.
So bear with me, please.
We really enjoy this stuff.
We do.
Though.
Yep, we do.
After getting a mention on Triple M, I'll have to clear up that Lloydie wanted me to clear up that he's just a good country boy now. He's given up the vegan diet.
Good. He's back in the meat.
He's the meat and 3 veg type of guy now, so he wanted me to clear that up.
Good.
I've got a little update on Camden McIntosh's table.
The cement table.
The cement table that weighs over 300 kilos. He actually invited about 5 or 6 of the boys over during the week for a feed. And the boys were pretty impressed, going, how good's this? Going over for a free feed, captain's cooking up. But they didn't know that when they got there, that they were lifting this table out into the backyard. So it was a bit of a debacle. It was raining. It was dark. Reece Conker smartly asked to help out with dinner. It was a shepherd's pie cooking or something like that. So something needed to be stirred. So Reece snuck in and stayed in the kitchen, which was which is pretty smart by him. But so out of the 6, 5 of the boys couldn't train Friday after helping lift that table. Come on. So they tried having boogie boards and tarps, trying to slide it and carry it. It was an absolute debacle.
But the good thing is it's actually in place now.
It's in.
Perfect.
We'll try and get a photo of it too.
That'd be good. It would be good.
I had another little quick one on Camden as well. He's got an Australian shepherd named Elsa. He likes to keep it clean, wash it all the time, and so he was washing Elsa in the backyard and couldn't find the brush to brush all the excess hair off and whatnot, and went into the bathroom and grabbed his housemate's Ben Lennon's girlfriend's hairbrush, and he's used that on his dog Elsa. I'm not sure if it's got back to Leno or Leno's girlfriend, but I hope it has.
Mate, girls love their hairbrushes too. That's disappointing.
So. We also noticed Connor Menendew. This has been going on for quite a while now. Drives in from Point Cook every day, and when something happens at the footy club, or there's a lot of media around, Connor gets here very early, sits in his car, does his hair, waits for the media to turn up.
A bit of me time.
Waits for Mark Stevens and all the heavy hitters and the cameras, and as soon as they're all set up, ready to go, and the lights right, out comes Connor. Slow strut into the club.
So he likes to get himself on the news, does he?
Bit of airtime.
Yeah, good.
And he's proud of that too.
Really? Do you reckon they know who he is?
Yeah, well, he seems to think so. He struts in, has his tat showing, and he loves it. And speaking about Jack as well, and Big Marbiol Chol was the one who got Jack in the eye. He was
2 phones Chol.
Yeah, 2 phones Chol. Yeah, he was seen at a Richmond venue trying to get in the line. The lineup was very big on a Saturday night, and he was heard going up to the bouncers and just whispering that he's the Richmond player that poked Jack Rewalt in the eye. Got let in.
Live off that.
And then was heard talking to a few females, using it as a bit of a pickup line. He was the man. The old 2 phones Chol.
He's done the old jump of the line, Cholly.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
That's not good.
Yeah, he's a good operator. So, and then the thing that is grinding my gears this week, a lot of the boys are big Game of Thrones watchers. Not sure if you boys are.
I've never seen it.
Very good show.
Is it?
Good one last night.
Most of the boys watch it.
Yeah.
Most of the boys watch it, and on a Monday night, everyone watches it, and come in on a Tuesday, and everyone's talking about what happened and debrief. And so my beef is with the guys that don't watch it on the Monday. And then they come in on the Tuesday and they expect everyone not to talk about it.
Right.
So if you don't watch it, watch it Monday night, you can't come in here sooking about spoilers. Watch it Monday night, tape it, record it, set yourself up.
Who's the chief spoiler?
Nick Vlaston's pretty good. He likes it, but it's fair play. If you don't watch it Monday night, bad luck.
Yeah,
bad luck.
And my list for this week is the blokes with the worst pets in the club. There's some interesting ones. There's a special mention to Todd Elton's dog Pebbles, which is a pug.
Pebbles
Causes a bit of grief. But into the votes. One vote is Jake Batchelor. He's got dwarf rabbits.
What
are dwarf rabbits?
Dwarf rabbits.
Pretty small.
Small rabbits, yeah.
Okay.
Named Bibby and Alf.
Oh, come on, Jake.
They live inside.
Really?
Yeah. 2 votes goes to Oleg Markov. He's got guinea pigs in his house.
You have guinea pigs when you're in primary school, don't you?
Yeah, grow up, Oleg, please, mate.
Come on.
3 votes is Alex Rance. He's got this cat called Bruno. It is a hairless cat. It's been outside once in its life where Rancy took it outside and it clung to a tree. all four paws clung to the tree and turned around to look at Rancy as if, what is this? Never felt wind before.
How would Kev get on with that, with Bruno?
No, he likes the outdoors, Kev.
Yeah,
so
Kev, yeah.
Bruno doesn't like the outdoors.
I think it's a bit sick at the moment. I think it might have leukemia. Rancy comes home and there's poo and wee everywhere on his carpet, all that sort of stuff. It just caused him that many headaches. So, Bruno, you are the worst pet at Richmond.
So it's not like Dr. Evil's cat on Austin Powers?
Yeah, that's exactly
the sort of cat it is?
Yeah.
No, you got to have hair on your cat, I think.
Yeah. I would have thought you have to have a bit of hair on it.
Yeah, very good, Gringy.
So,
very good.
there's that's it for this week.
I reckon the next thing is that the most interesting pets that the players have got. The best pets would be good.
The best pets?
Yeah, okay. That'd be an interesting
Top
one.
3 best pets.
Best 3.
Hey, just before we move on to the Spirit of 67, just Chief Watch last week, Benny Gale was wearing his Speedos around the pool up at the Gold Coast. Did that put the players off at all before the game? That's not acceptable, is it?
I think he's nearly the only one that can pull it off, Richo. Maybe him and yourself, I'd pass that.
Not acceptable.
I saw him down there lathering himself with a bit of cocoa butter and the oil and the reef oil. And he was up and about.
He obviously did pull it off, I think.
I think he did.
He was up and about. And he's a bit of bronze. There might have been some pre-tanning before he got up, maybe. I don't know.
He's a disgrace. Thanks, Griggy.
That's just awful, isn't it?
What do you got, Tone?
I'm put off by that. Completely put off by it. Anyway. Well, was this round next Saturday, so August the 12th, 50 years ago, because as we celebrate the drought-breaking 67 premiership, all right. So the Tigers actually cemented their spot in the top 4 as it was then. For the first time in 20 years, they made, right, with a big win against Hawthorn. But 23-30. It was the most shots we'd ever had in a match up till that point, 23-30. What, 53 shots? 168, 53 to Hawthorn 7-12, 54. So beaten by 114 points.
Who kicked him?
Well, I'll get to this in a sec. Yeah. So, but we were down at quarter time, 3-6 to 4-4. Massive second quarter, 9-5 to 1-2. Johnny Northey swooper kicked 6 goals, and Royce was right back. Royce kicked 5 goals, 7 this day.
I thought he was a good kicker.
5-7. Oh, he's just
a bit windy.
It was a bit windy. Yeah, a bit windy. KB 26 disposal and 2 goals. Mike Patterson, he had a huge season, 67. 25 disposal, 11 marks, 23 hitouts. Kicked a goal. Billy Barrett 23. Mike Bowden 22. Royce had the 22. So yeah, the 53 scoring shots, the most he'd ever had in a league match up to that point. Hawthorn's best one of their keys was Hutto played that game, Peter Hudson. This was at Glenferrie Oval, and he kicked 3 goals, 3. So it was the first time in 20 years that we'd clinched the spot. So we went 13-3 with 2 games to go. So obviously 3 games inside the top 4 as it was then. Interesting just reading that from Footy Week of that week. There was they were applying to a column that the great Scotty Palmer had written in the Sun, and it was under the heading of football danger. Computers may judge players' form. So it was the quotes, and this is the piece from there. League football appears to be in danger of becoming totally computerised to a stage where a player's match form will be judged on a massive statistics. Some footballers believe that a number of coaches and selectors already are assessing a player's game too heavily on figures compiled from the grandstand.
So there you go.
So way back, even 50 years ago, there was concern about it.
So he's ahead of his time,
Scotty Palmer. Ahead of his time.
I don't think the 23 goals 30 would have gone down well on Facebook back in 67.
I reckon if you win by 114 points...
Well, they'll find a way.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
That's not bad. So I don't mind that. Something different.
Good.
That was good.
As long as I get your tick of approval, really, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Is that it? Oh, you got your gags to go. Griggy loves these.
Yeah.
You know who else loves the gags, Griggy?
Who's that?
Peggy O'Neill.
Peggy
loves them.
Peggy loves them.
Stopped us last week, didn't she? We had a good chat, and she loves the gags. Not sure how we go with these, but anyway, let's have a look. I got a package in the post the other day, and on it was written, "Please don't bend." Yeah. So how the hell was I supposed to pick it up? It's just ridiculous. It's still there. I don't know. Get someone round. A mate of mine is both illiterate, right, and ambidextrous. So that's a double tragedy when you think about it.
Dustin Martin, is it?
Well, it means he's unable to write. It means he's unable to write with both hands.
Oh, shit.
I went to a karaoke bar the other day. You like your karaoke bars?
I don't mind karaoke. Yeah.
But didn't play any 70s music. Yeah, at first I was afraid. I was petrified. I've got enough money to last me the rest of my life.
Well, you lost half of it, though.
It's Richo.
That's another story, unless I buy something. I was playing chess with a mate of mine the other day, right, and he said, let's make this interesting. Yep, so we stopped playing chess. Another mate of mine,
More mates
dialer mate, realised he was dyslexic. He went to a toga party dressed as a goat. Think about it. About a dog, right? Dog goes into a hardware store and he says to the bloke behind the counter, I'd like a job, please. And the hardware store owner says, we don't hire dogs. Why don't you go join the circus? And the dog replies, what would the circus want a plumber for?
Oh, jeez.
Where do you find all these things? Where do they come from?
I don't know.
From my book, which is available at all good and bad bookstores.
You should write a joke.
Yeah, not a bad idea. No? Good idea. I might do that over summer.
Well, there you go. That's Talking Tigers for another week. Thanks, Tone. Thanks, JB. Thanks, Griggy, for coming in. Good luck down in Geelong this week. There won't be many Tigers fans there, but we'll be watching it somewhere.
Plenty of noise still. Those that are there.
We'll be there.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.